Okay, now this may seem a little bit controversial because I'm wearing this Marvel hat and I have this Marvel poster right here behind me. But I actually love DC, as in DC Comics. The entirety, okay, not the entirety, I mean, Kite Man exists, but I love DC Comics pretty much as I love Marvel Comics. Maybe even more so. Now, Marvel has had a lot more like long term success in cinema. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is like the greatest movie franchise of all time. I'm not going to deny that. It's amazing. It's a masterpiece. I love every second of it. That's not true. I don't love every second of it, but it's still amazing nonetheless. And and the DCEU, it's kind of rough. It's it has not been the best for a while. They put out like three really good movies and like six other really not good ones. The worst of which are like Batman v Superman, Justice League, Suicide Squad. They're all really bad, but I still really like DC as its own thing. Now they've also made some really great movies like Joker, or great TV shows like Gotham. I love Gotham. Gotham's amazing. And they've also made some really good characters like Superman, Wonder Woman, um, Green Arrow. The entire Justice League is just a fun team. Shazam. I love Shazam more than the normal person loves Shazam. I don't know, maybe she's just really relatable. But anyway, so yeah, I really identify with a lot of DC. But you know what? I could eliminate 96% of the DC universe, the entirety of DC Comics, and it could survive based on characters that all relate to one character. That, of course, is Condiment King. This brilliant costumed warrior that excels in character development and depth of real great storyline. I can't do this. No, of course it's Batman. I love Batman. He's probably my favorite superhero of all time. Well, okay, he's tied with Spider-Man for my favorite superhero of all time because, like, honestly, Batman isn't that relatable. Like, greatest physical specimen on the planet who dresses up as a bat all the time. I mean, Spider-Man is a lot more identifiable to me personally because he's an awkward teen. I'm an awkward teen, so. Um, but no, I mean, just Batman is such a fascinating character, and a lot of it comes down to his core values. Above all, Batman does not kill people. It doesn't happen, or at least it shouldn't happen ever. DCEU, listen to me. So, yeah. Anyway, now I honestly don't think that we have the great Batman in the movies that we could, and hopefully will, with Robert Pattinson in The Batman, which looks amazing. But yeah, I mean, like, Christian Bale got really close to having a great version of the character because he's a fantastic Bruce Wayne. He's absolutely amazing in that role. But his Batman kind of sucks. He sounds like he's gonna cough up a lung every time he speaks. Especially only when he's Batman, not as Bruce Wayne. Like he just sounds so ridiculous. I can't take him seriously. Will Arnett was more intimidating. He was in the Lego Movie. Speaking of which, Will Arnett was really good. Kevin Conroy was also very good. I haven't seen Batman the Animated Series. I gotta get around to that. Anyway, Michael Keaton did a great job of balancing both versions of the character, but he was often pushed aside in both of his movies, actually. As much as I love the original Batman movie, he's not really the main character for a large percentage of that film. And then in Batman Returns, which is not as good, he's also kind of pushed to the side. Adam West. It pains me to say this. As much as I love Adam West in the role, there's really no difference between his Batman and his Bruce Wayne. They're kind of the same character. It's honestly surprising that Commissioner Gordon never figures out that they're the same person because I don't know, I guess he's kind of dumb. Anyway, and then there were like the laughing stock versions, the Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Ben Affleck. These are just... And the thing is, I guess Val Kilmer could have been okay, but he just wasn't. George Clooney probably could have made for a decent Bruce Wayne, but just writing awful. And then Ben Affleck should have been awesome, but no, he sucks. And then David Mazouz, highly underrated performance as Bruce Wayne from Gotham. Because, I mean, he's a fantastic Bruce Wayne, and he's amazing in that show, but he never really got the chance to be Batman, aside from, like, the very last episode of the show, which is one of the greatest finales to any TV series ever. I was, like, geeking out for the entire time. Anyway, so, yeah, we don't have that great version of Batman that we could and should. Again, Robert Pattinson, please fix your disagreement with Matt Reeves. I want to see you do a good job as Batman, sir. Move on from Twilight. Please be awesome. So, yeah. I love Batman. And again, a lot of it comes down to his core values. He doesn't kill people. But, I mean, he still has these really aggressive techniques in that he can beat the crap out of someone because, again, greatest physical specimen on the face of the planet. But, I mean, he still doesn't kill people. That's his main rule. Again, DCEU, what are you doing? Are you having Batman shooting people with machine guns? What is this? Anyway, so, yeah. But a lot of what makes Batman great is his supporting cast. Like, everybody around him. There are so many awesome Batman characters. This includes Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, Lucius Fox, Leslie Tompkins, pretty much all the Robins, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd. Name any one of them you want. Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, she's awesome. But you know what really makes Batman the best? You know what elevates him above every other superhero in the DC Comics canon? Or pretty much every other superhero in the Marvel canon except for maybe Spider-Man, especially in this regard? His villains. Batman has probably the greatest set of villains put to comic book form ever. And it's not even, like, all the main ones. Of course, the main ones are all amazing, but, I mean, like, the side villains, some of the henchmen are just so distinctly awesome. Of course, you have the Joker, who is just such an amazing character. But you have the Penguin, the Riddler, Catwoman. Catwoman's one of the best comic book characters of all time because she has this great contrast between her and Batman. It's like she has no moral compass, but they have similar techniques. They agree with each other, and often they are a romantic pairing. One thing I want to mention, I hate it when Batman has a love interest that's not Selena Kyle or Talia al Ghul. It's just bad because it's never been done right before. I mean, like, I guess Vicky Vale is okay in Batman 89, but, like, I mean, the Nicole Kidman from Batman Forever is laughable, and some of the dialogue is like Star Wars prequels levels of bad. Ironically, Batman and Robin, one of the worst superhero movies of all time, didn't give Batman an independent love interest. That's kind of sad. And then the Nolan films did this, and just... Nolan, why did you feel the need to invent another character? There are plenty of love interests in Batman comics. Vicky Vale. Anybody. This is my main problem with the Dark Knight trilogy. I hate Rachel Dawes so much. I didn't mind Katie Holmes in Batman Begins. I despise Maggie Gyllenhaal's performance in The Dark Knight. You go from her, who's just really, really bad, interacting with Heath Ledger's Joker, who is really, really awesome. And it's just laughable. I don't buy that everything that Batman does in this entire trilogy revolves around this one lady who he's just kind of lusting over randomly. Not really lusting over, but you know what I mean. And then it's like her death causes Harvey Dent to go insane and go ballistic. Like, what is this? It causes Bruce Wayne to stop being Batman for like 10 years. It's bothersome. Anyway, back to the villains. They're all amazing. one of my personal favorites is Bane, because he has this real confliction with Batman's moral code and his, because he came from literal nothing and he rose up to become this power hungry terrorist, and he's just awesome. And then there's Batman, who came from tragedy and rose up to become this hero. He very easily could have become a villain in any one of his comics, but that's what makes him so interesting. Batman is right on the precipice of becoming the thing that he hates the most. And he never once crosses that line because he has a tremendous amount of self control. Again, he is one of the smartest individuals on the planet. So why'd you make him dumb in the DCEU? And so, yeah, he's the world's greatest detective. We know this. So, yeah, I love Batman. What else more can I say? I mean, he's probably the greatest superhero to have ever been invented. I don't know if he's my favorite. I mean, Spider-Man is just endlessly relatable because he's so awkward and epic. But anyway, yeah, Batman's my favorite. I mean, there's so many great stories to tell with him. So many great detective-based stories. That's why I'm excited for the Batman. It's going to be a detective story. And hopefully it will not have an independent love interest. So, yes, I love Batman. I will defend him until the day that I die. DC does not create bad characters. They create amazing characters. I mean, some of them are bad, like Condiment King or Rachel Dawes. But you know what? That's not even the comics. That's just Nolan and all his uppity ways. But thinking he can create an all grounded Batman. Batman's a comic book character. It's a dude that dresses up as a bat and runs around in a stupid Batman voice. Can't do a grounded version of Batman, you buffoon. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the Dark Knight trilogy. I'll probably make a video about those movies at some point. And hopefully I will make more Batman content in the future. That said, remember, always, to keep calm and watch on.